Okay, class, today we're going to look at this idea of what is a claim. First of all, I hope you read the pages that you were supposed to read before starting, because they will be referred to throughout the lecture today. Now, looking at the idea, first of all, of what is a claim. If you refer back to page 85, it is defined as the actual aspect that is arguable. It is not the main topic that the person is talking about, but it's the actual arguments that they're giving. So being able to look at that argument is important. Now we have three main aspects that we're going to look at today. We have this idea of claim of fact, claim of value, and claim of policy. Now, first of all, let's look at the claim of fact. Now, claim of fact is this idea of looking at, is the issue true or is it not true, and can the issue be verified? So if you're looking at the picture here, it is actually based on a survey of kids who watch hundreds of fast food ads per year. So looking here, the facts are stated. They're specific, they're percentages, and their numbers based on the year and what style of things that the kids watch themselves. Now this is a claim of fact. They did a survey, they gathered the information, and now they're showing the information. So we can easily go back and be able to verify the issue that the author is showing because of the fact that they have the statistics and the information to back it up. Now you also look here at this idea of it actually gives you in the documents that it was published in 2012 and it's based on ads that were viewed in 2012. That is important because that goes back to this idea of something being verified. You could actually go back to 2012 and you can look up this information and verify the survey itself. Okay, so that's claim of facts. The next one is claim of value. Value is this idea of what value does it have for the audience, the person that is watching it, reading it, or partaking in the argument. So you're bringing in this idea of how does it actually become desirable for them. So we look at three main aspects of this idea of claim of value. Is it good or bad? So if it's something good, how does it appeal to me? If I'm a good person, if it's on the bad side, how are you going to get me to look at it and read it and pay attention to it? Is it right or wrong? Goes with the same aspects of good or bad. How does it fit in there with me? And then the last one, which is usually the most common, is this idea of it being desirable or undesirable. Now, when you look at things like a movie review, which I have up on screen here, this one from Parent Trap. Now, the idea here, when someone writes a movie review, much like the Star Wars movie review that is in the textbook, they write it with this intention of trying to add value to the movie and make it desirable or undesirable for the audience. We see this now even more so with sites like Rotten Tomatoes, where they actually add that desire or that undesirable by adding percentages next to the movies, which takes in that effect of the claim of value. Your blog this week will actually be based on this idea of claim of value, and I will discuss it later in the week, but you'll be dealing with this idea of a movie review of some aspect or some kind, so keeping that in mind when we get to that. Now, the final one is this idea of a claim of policy. A claim of policy, in order for you to have this, you have to have a claim of fact and you have to have a claim of value. Now, if you are missing one of these two, then you don't have the idea of a claim of policy. So the idea is that you have to have the facts and the information, then you have to have it be of value to your audience before you can recommend a policy shift or a policy change. You see this a lot in government. Government does surveys, they do research, they put out recommendations based on facts that they have. They add value by appealing to a certain type of audience. Is this more male-centered or is it more female-centered? And because of that, they then make a policy change. How do they affect that is the important aspect. Now, keeping in mind here this idea of a claim must be arguable, when you look at page 86, there is an activity there that I want you to do tonight as part of your homework. I want you to do this in your notes because we're going to use this as part of our beginning discussion tomorrow in class. Make sure you're following the instructions. It says to read each of the following statements and evaluate whether each one is arguable or not arguable. Now, if it's something that can be verified and would be an effective argument, then there's nothing you need to do with it. But if it can't be verified and it is not something that would be effective, like it doesn't have a claim of policy or a claim of fact or a claim of value to go with it, then it's going to be more difficult to talk about. So in that case, then I want you to try revising it to make it to where it would be more arguable. Now we will go over these in class tomorrow and share them and share the ideas on it. And it's important that you take a look at these as we are getting deeper into this aspect and this lesson. Thank you and have a good night.